My mother came when Elvis was born to bring a diaper layette to diaper Elvis because the Presleys were in dire circumstances. And Dr. William Robert Hunt, who delivered him, was our Sunday school teacher and delivered all of us. And he announced on prayer meeting on Wednesday night that the Presleys had had twins, and would the good ladies of the church come out and give them some assistance. It was raining that day, and Vernon told me that Brother Holly said, "Vernon, you go on home and we'll take care of the burial." He had a terrible cough from having to work outside in the weather. I never saw a Presley that couldn't sing. And they would sing, and it was a music of the oppressed, and it was a music of the fact that there's going to be a better place. And they would sing, "Some glad morning I'll fly away," and you know, we were all just ready to load the bus. In 1971, I was visiting with Elvis and his family. As I started to leave, Elvis escorted me to the foyer. As we were standing there talking, Lisa came through pushing her baby buggy. I turned to Elvis and remarked, "Elvis, she will soon be 4 years old. What do you plan to give her for her 4th birthday?" With a wide sweep of his hands, he said, "You know, all of this is but for a day." And we talked about home and roots and his childhood, and about leaving Tupelo with a small trunk and all their worldly belongings. And he said, "Miss McComb, I would like for her to remember and be remembered the lady for which she will be, and not for what she's acquired." I said, in other words, we talked of the values of life, and he said, "Could you write for me a poem to give her that would make her know these values?" And I said, "Elvis, in other words, you want me to write a priceless gift?" And he said, "Yes." I wrote the poem, and when I brought it to him, he grabbed it with both arms, and after he read it, he bounded up the stairs. He came back down, and he was crying, and he took my copy, and he wrote on it, "This is just beautiful, Elvis Presley." And he looked, and the tears had smeared my copy, and with his elbow, he started to wipe them away, remarking, "Miss McComb, I've ruined your copy." And I said, "No, Elvis, someday those teardrops will be priceless."
This is Miss Janelle McComb, and she met Elvis when he was a little boy, and Vernon and Gladys in Tupelo. And she has remained very close friends with the family ever since.
Oh, great. Well, say hello. This is Janelle McComb, everybody. Ms. McComb, tell me now about, when was the first time you ever saw Elvis?
The first time I saw Elvis, he was approximately 2 years old, and his mother and I were getting a permanent at the old Tupelo Beauty School. And someone came in and said, "There's a man sitting on the steps with a little baby and a little boy, and he's crying his eyes out." And Miss Presley said, "I think that's Elvis." So we followed her down to see, and Elvis was crying. And that was my first time to really remember Elvis Presley and who he was.
And you've been a friend of Elvis and the family ever since, eh?
Yes, I have.
Can I just show people this? Because I find this. Here's the TCB symbol.
TLC is what the women wore, and the men wore TCB.
Well, taking care of business, what's TLC?
Tender loving care.
Tender loving care. Can you ever look at that? And that's a diamond in there, too. Elvis gave you that.
Tender loving care. That means treat your women with tender loving care, and the men took care of business.
I always try to do that, you know. What about coming to Graceland? You came to Graceland quite often?
Well, when
Billy was always here.
Right, and because we never infringed our rights. We came, we would always show the courtesy of calling, letting them know. And we visited not only with Elvis, but with Billy and Vester and the entire family.
Billy's always polite to everybody when they come here.
One of my fondest memories, one day I came in the back door and they'd hired a new boy. And I think his name was Steve Smith, and Billy was sitting here, and immediately he jumped, and Billy said, don't bother her, that's Miss McComb, she's our friend. So I went upstairs and I said, "Elvis, I'm so impressed with Billy's manners," and he said, "You should be, I raised him." Yeah.